If you're feeling lost in life or stuck or unsure, then this is the video for you, because how to find direction in life when you are lost can be difficult. But today I'm going to share my story and then also share some tips on how you can find direction when you were lost. Because in the past, I was lost. I didn't know how to find direction and navigate these tough situations to get where I wanted to be. And for those of you who don't know me, my name's Chris Richardson. I'm a coach here at Life on Your Terms, and I make these videos to share my experiences to hopefully empower you to work through some of the things that I had to quicker than I ever could have. So try to share all this information on this YouTube channel so that you guys can learn quicker than I did. So again, how to find direction in life when you're lost. So I'm gonna use my story throughout each point, so you're gonna wanna stay around to the end so you can kind of see how I developed throughout these points and this framework. So the first piece of how to find direction is to acknowledge and understand that you are feeling lost and you are feeling stuck. I feel like so often people do feel lost and stuck in life, and they just keep ramming their head against the wall. They're like, no, I need to keep doing this. No, I just need to work harder. When it might be time for a pivot, or it might be time to try something else. So it's important to identify and understand that I feel directionless and I feel lost. It's totally okay to be there. But once you do that, you're able to understand, okay, maybe I need to create a new plan, or maybe I need just to set more goals within this plan. And you can kind of look at it a different way once you've identified you're directionless and lost. So in terms of my story, when I was in college, early in college, freshman or sophomore, I had a really good idea that I wanted to be a therapist. I knew I wanted to help people, but I felt directionless or lost in the sense because I wanted to help people then. I wanted to start helping people now. I didn't want to wait 6 more years, and that creates some frustration within me. So I was like, okay, I do feel directionless and I do feel lost. What do I need to do? And I identified that what triggered these feelings is, again, I wanted to help people now. I am somewhat impatient and I like to help people. And so that really invigorated in me that I wanted to help people now. And I do accept that without judgment. So I'd encourage you to do that well, is to understand where you're at. Look at, okay, maybe I am a little lost, maybe I am a little directionless. How can I fix this problem? And from there, where are these feelings coming from? What is triggering them? What's that trigger so you can use that as fuel in the future and then accept it without judgment? So what did I do? I start to visualize what was possible. And that brings us to the next point, is what does amazing look like in visualization? So asking myself the question, what would amazing look like? And I came upon the answer that amazing for me would be a coach that had a coaching firm where I had a bunch of other coaches or a bunch of other therapists that I worked with. And that's what I'm driving towards today, to help empower others. And it's truly where I want to be. And so I identified, okay, you know what? To be a better therapist tomorrow, I can be a coach today. So currently, I'm full focus on the coaching path. I may go back to master's school, but I highly doubt it, because I could do almost the same thing as a coach, and coaching focuses on the future, therapy focuses on the sins of the past, and I really like to help people empower their situation to help them look in the future and live a life on their terms. So I'm sticking with coaching, and that visualization helped me understand what does amazing look like. So I'd encourage you to do the same thing in your life. Is if you're lost, if you're directionless, look at, okay, what does amazing look like for me 12 months from now, 5 years from now? So for me, when I was still in college, it was, okay, 12 months from now, it's that I've helped a few people, I've coached a few people, and I've changed some lives. And that's what I did. So it's to look at, also, what are your personal values? A great way to look at this is our balance wheel in the description below. I encourage you to wait till the end of the video, take that balance wheel. But there's 12 categories within it that maybe you value and you want to improve. Maybe it comes down to you want to improve your relationship with your wife or husband, or you want to have a better relationship with your kids, or maybe you want to start your own business, or maybe you want to have more time for yourself. Whatever it looks like, that balance will kind of highlight what you want to work towards and what you personally value. So looking at what you value can be helpful. Another way to look at what does amazing look like if you're kind of struggling with this is to look at your past successes and joys. If you look back in your life, what's a really good time in your life that you were very joyful? What kind of comes up for that And then once you identify that, you can apply that to the future as well. Maybe you've been 10 years and you've kind of been lost, and you look back when you were 20 and you were just adventuring and stuff like that, and you love your life. It's like, okay, let's get back to that. Let's get back to that, some of that adventureness within you. And however that looks, you just got to identify what are some of your past happinesses and joys, and then how can you get back there? Helpful way, again, to do this is to go through these 4 situations. So if you had unlimited money, what would you buy and what would you do with it? If you had unlimited time, and what I mean by this is, let's say you had a great aunt or whatever that passed away, you weren't very close to her, but she had a lot of money. And she said, I'll give you 2 times what you're earning right now. So it kind of gave you unlimited time. You just had to be working on something you love to do. What would you work on? If you were at your 100th birthday, what are some of those legacy things you would want to be hearing about? And the 4th situation to think about is that if you had a 3-year expiration date, what would you work on in that time? So looking at those 4 situations, you can identify and look at all the different things you'd be working on. And I'd encourage you to start ranking them, compare them back and forth, and that can kind of give you an idea of what does amazing look like and what do you want to do to help yourself feel direction and not feel lost within life. So that can be helpful. Now, the 3rd step in continuing my story of being a coach is, how will I get on track? What will I do? So I have this visualization. I've identified what will I want to do, but how am I going to do it? So I asked myself the question, what is the first step? What is the first thing I can do? And I realized, okay, one thing I need to do is I need to generate leads. I don't really know what to offer. I mean, I know I could be a coach, but I was kind of a general coach. I didn't really have it figured out. I was like, what can I do? And it was start sending cold messages. And what's really cool is I actually hit 5,000 cold DMs sent today. And it's not the highest lever of my time, but it gives me at-bats. And that was the key, is to get me at-bats, get me some clients. And what was kind of cool about that, I sent 100 messages, and I said I'm gonna send 100 messages. It's my first step I'm gonna take. Send 100 messages. And on my 97th message, I got a message back and to be a client for the guy. So it was amazing how it worked out. So that's the strategies. What's the first thing you can do with your visualization that you've came up with? So I'd encourage you to set daily, weekly, quarterly, and yearly goals. And for me, I did that with the messages. So however that looks for you, I would encourage those goals to be work related. And what I mean by work related is not outcome focused. So one of my quarterly objectives over here is to work 20 hours outside of my day job on coaching stuff. And so with that, I'm able to only focus on the work. It's only if I did the work or not. It's all that matters. And so that's what I encourage for you to do as well, is to make these work-focused goals that are only controllable and then make predictions related to them. So for me, if I work 20 hours a week, I predict that I get 10 new clients in a quarter. Right? It could be anything, but that's like just an example. So set those work-related goals. Now, another piece to my story with strategy and how to get on track was me identifying that I needed a mentor. So for you, it might be identifying what skills do you need? Maybe you need a mentor. What time or money do you need to make this happen? So you need to identify in your strategy, what do you need to make this a reality? Because this will move us to our next step in the story, which is to take action on your new direction or execution. And this is what the most important piece. We can do 1 through 3, but what really matters is this 4th piece, is execution. So again, this relates back to executing on the first thing that you've identified. So for me, it was identifying that, okay, I'm gonna send these messages. Okay, I'm gonna make content. Okay, I'm gonna work with my mentor to get better at coaching. Okay, now I've got some clients. How am I gonna offer and make the fulfillments? Stuff like that. So you work through those things. And for you, whatever that direction may be when you're lost, it's how are you gonna work through those new things that you need to do to make this happen? So that's what I did. And then also you need to understand what barriers will be in your way. And these could be the resources we've identified in strategy. These could be mindset. These could be just your simple skills that you don't have. It's identifying what barriers are standing in your way so you can preemptively plan for them. Because for me, I knew that I would have a tough time mentally with this. Just mindset wise. It's like, okay, my first entrepreneurial journey, I'm still very young and I didn't realize how hard it was. And it is difficult, but now I'm kind of in stride with that. But at first I had to understand what that barrier was, and I was way more ready for it because I knew that barrier. So that's how to find direction in life when you're lost. I used myself as a story. Hopefully that was helpful and you could kind of pick up some of those things.